Hey guys, welcome back. Today is episode number 2 and we are talking about what could be breaking your hair. So there are several things that could be breaking your hair and we're going to get into it in a second. But first of all, I do want to put out a quick apology. My voice is very low here. I was lacking in energy because I recorded this past midnight and I was so exhausted and I didn't realize. So sorry about that. I hope you come away with a lot. There's a lot of good tips in here. You can find me on Instagram at Lena's Makeup and Hair. I hope you enjoy this episode. Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about what's damaging or breaking your hair. So there's several things that could be causing breakage or damage in your hair. First of all, I do want to preface this by saying that you may not even have damaged hair. And the reason I say this is because literally everybody I see thinks they have damaged hair. Every client who sits in my chair tells me to cut off the damaged ends. And I think to myself, what damaged ends? Sometimes clients just have dry ends, or they have zero dryness and zero split ends and zero damage. And they think that their hair is damaged, and they could be using products for damaged hair as well that doesn't actually suit their hair at all. But if you see breakage, if you see split ends, if you notice your hair breaking when you're brushing it, there's little pieces flying everywhere, then several things may be happening. You are using hot water. So hot water can dry out your hair. It is not good for your hair. Hot water is not good for your skin either. It dries out your skin. It dries out your scalp. It dries out your face. I know that in the winter months, I love taking hot showers, but do keep in mind that if you want to keep your hair healthy, hot water is a no-go. And when your hair is wet, putting it up when it's wet, sleeping in your hair when it's wet, your hair turns very elastic. It becomes 50% more elastic, or it has more elasticity when it's wet, which means that when you're brushing it when it's wet, and when you're tying it up when it's wet, and when you're sleeping in it when it's wet, it's actually stretching and breaking like a rubber band. And you wake up in the morning and it looks fine, but over time, you might even find that one side of your hair has less hair than the other side, maybe because you're sleeping on that one side. So, you gotta watch your hair, especially if you're trying to grow it out. Something else you could be doing is using a hairband. So those hairbands, the elastic bands, everyone loves them. They're terrible for your hair. They break your hair so bad, especially the ones that have the metal clips. When I had long hair, I used them all the time. I used to get them at the dollar store. I'm pretty sure that they just broke the heck out of my hair. And no matter how soft they are going to break it. So scrunchies are great. And I know scrunchies are back and they're super popular right now. You want to get the ones that are felt or like velvety or silky because they coat the hair. So they're very gentle on the hair. I mean, if you tie your hair really, really tight, you could be breaking it. The way that you take out the hair, when you take your bun out, you could be ripping the hair out. So when you take out the hair, please be gentle. I've seen women throw up their hair in a bun and it's all wrapped up into each other. And I used to do this myself when I had long hair. And then when they go to take it out, they're ripping it right out. And it's just, it really, really pains me. Like, it hurts me physically when I see that happen. I'm like, please stop pulling your hair. You're breaking it. And the worst part is the way that you're wrapping the hair, you're wrapping the top, like the top part, the part that you can see. You're not ripping the bottom. So the bottom of your hair is always going to be healthy, and what you're ripping is actually the top part, the part that we want to be healthy and shiny. That's the one that's ripping. That's the one that you're sleeping on. That's the one that you're pulling back. That's also the one that you're washing. So when you go to wash your hair, another thing is the shower head, or the way that you shampoo your hair. Maybe that kind of the crown area, I find, where everyone gets like that frizz and it just feels like super dry. It's possible that your shower head is going straight at it, and that's where you're shampooing your hair the most. So maybe that's where you're concentrating your shampoo and you're like going at it, and you're like, aggressive is the word that I was looking for. Maybe you're washing your hair super aggressively, and that is, over time, that's going to cause damage and dryness and frizz. I also want to mention hard water. If you are living in an old building, your pipes are old, the water is old, you probably shouldn't be drinking from the tap. The water's not good for your hair, so you could be using a nice clarifying shampoo, or you need a shower filter. You guys know the next point, but I have to talk about it anyway, and that is heat. If you are flat ironing your hair, even once in a while without using heat protectant, which you absolutely should. Flat ironing your hair at 450 degrees is very, very bad for your hair. Even if you have coarse hair, actually, if you have coarse hair, I was going to say that coarse hair usually is stronger than fine hair, and so fine hair damages faster. It does, yes, because of how fragile it is. It does damage faster and it breaks faster. It's just very fragile. But coarse hair, if you were to flat iron coarse hair, like say you have curly hair and you're flat ironing all the time, curly hair and coarser hair tends to be very dry as well. And even though it's very strong, over time, you're not taking care of it, you're just flat ironing it, eventually you're going to get split ends. Eventually the hair just cannot withstand all of that heat damage and the bonds start to break and you get split ends and it just keeps going up the hair. So I've seen people with very coarse hair that usually is very strong, very tight cuticle that can also break and have a lot of split ends. But I do want to say that fine hair usually is much more fragile. So if you have fine hair, please lay off the straightener. If you have to have your hair straight, you can use a round brush and blow dry your hair. Learn how to blow dry your hair. Ask your hairstylist to teach you how to blow dry your hair. Look up YouTube tutorials because the heat from a blow dryer is much less than with a flat iron. It also gives you more bounce, more fluff, more zhuzh to your hair, so more volume, and it lasts longer and it's less damaging. And when you're using a brush that has the vents in it, so a ceramic brush, the air goes through the brush and it circulates faster and it dries your hair faster. So it's a dry and straighten all at once. The larger the brush too is the straighter the hair. So get a large round brush that is professional and get a professional hair dryer and learn to blow dry your hair if you absolutely must have it smooth, because I have fine frizzy hair, so I understand when you really just want to blow dry. I get it. Speaking of blow dryers, if you are using an old blow dryer or hair dryer that could be, from the 1800s, and usually old hair dryers, if they've been sitting around and they were given to us by somebody many years ago, we usually lose the nozzle on those. And then we're blow drying our hair with no nozzle with a hair dryer that is probably very hot. I'm thinking the filament is very hot, the technology is really bad, and that is really bad for your hair. So I had clients who would say, I'm doing everything right, I'm not using heat, I'm using all the products, like I don't know why my hair is breaking. And I'm just like, what is happening right now? It looks like you use a flat iron every single day on your hair. Like your hair is so, after some probing, I remember this one client, I just had a hunch to ask her. I was like, hold on a second, what hair dryer are you using? Like, is it, if she was using a GHD, for example, or if she was using one of those like a Dyson, or she was using like one of the high-end professional brands, I don't see that ever hurting your hair. Like if you're using that, it makes your hair so shiny. Like expensive brands are good, like professional brands are amazing. So I asked her, I was like, hold on, what kind of hair dryer are you using? And she says, I don't know. I don't know. And I was like, is it old? And she goes, maybe. And I was like, are you using without a nozzle? And she goes, maybe. And I was like, oh girl, what are you doing? No. And she's like, yeah, my mother-in-law gave it to me like a few years ago, and she probably had it for like 10 years before that, and it's still going. And she's like, I don't even know what brand it is because it's actually completely come off. Like it's completely wiped off. And I was like, and you probably lost the nozzle. And she's like, yeah, I don't need, she's like, I didn't even know you're supposed to use the nozzle. I was like, what do you mean? That's like the whole point. So the nozzle actually, it doesn't filter the air. It just creates a space between the hair dryer and your hair. So the heat doesn't go directly on your hair. If it's going directly on your hair, oh my God, it's so bad. It's so bad. So you got to think of your hair like silk. Actually, fun fact, hair fibers are actually very similar to wool fibers. So if you have a wool sweater, it's actually very similar to hair. I learned that in science class. But think of your hair, the way you want to treat it is the way you want to treat a silk dress. You want to treat it like it is the most beautiful, expensive thing that you own, because it kind of is. And repairing it is very expensive. Repairing damaged hair is very expensive. You are going to need in-salon treatments, plus shampoo, plus conditioner, which everybody should have, and a mask, a weekly mask. And sometimes you might need even 2 masks, plus treatments, plus serums, plus a leave-in, a detangler, and all kinds of products just to keep your hair healthy and looking great for a long time. So just take your precautions and be careful. The way you treat your hair is you just gotta be very, very gentle. Did I say gentle? Be very gentle with your hair. And it's kind of like skin. I'm pretty rough on my skin, and everyone tells me I have good skin. I don't know, but I'm not very gentle with my skin at all. But I don't think I'm gentle with my hair either, to be honest. I don't really practice what I preach, but for my clients, it's such a big deal for me to take care of them and take care of their hair. So if you love your hair and you want to keep it long and healthy and shiny, or even if you don't, these are my tips for why your hair could be breaking. I hope I didn't forget anything. And I'll make another episode on how you can keep your hair growing. All right, guys, thank you for listening. That's it for today. Let's chat another time. I will see you again very soon. Bye.